Now, imagine this. 2 startup exits, 6 unicorn investments, and a mind-boggling portfolio of 3,000 startups. With the dynamic duo that will be setting the stage, give a round of applause for the one and only Khailee Ng, the managing partner of 500 Global. And with him, give another roaring round of applause for Joel Nyo.
Check.
Okay.
Great to be at the Adlin show today.
Okay, so Adlin's out of the show, so this is...
no more Adlin, we promise.
Okay, we're going to do this session as raw as possible. So basically, Khailee didn't get any questions, right? I have no questions at all. So, I've known Khailee for 15 years. There are a couple of things I wanted to do. I think the first one, if there's anyone in this room that's fundraising, can I see who is fundraising, right? Building a company. Oh, there's quite a number, huh? Okay, so maybe later in the session, I want to pick two individuals that will come and just tell us, just do a quick elevator pitch, right, of what you do. Yeah. So maybe you guys prepare first, and I'll pick 2. Yeah. So the reason why is because I think in this region, there's no one who actually knows Southeast Asia investment landscape as best as Khailee, right? So they've invested in 3,000 companies globally, 120 companies in Malaysia, which means that actually you've actually seen through probably thousands, right, of companies. So before I kind of go into the what, I want to understand, like, why do you do what you do? Because a lot of people think this is like, like investing in companies is an amazing job. It's very aspirational. But, sometimes when we have chats, I know you deal with a lot of shit, right? Because when you invest in companies, a lot of companies fail, right? And, the companies founders who are failing are the ones that are going to be calling you. Not the ones that are successful, right? The ones that are successful are probably not even kind of, they're doing fine, right? Everybody's going to be calling you, when he's running out of money. But when you invest in like 120 companies in Malaysia, when say 80 of them run out of cash, you'll be getting those calls, right? So I want to just start off like, why do you do what you do? It's hard, right?
I think the kind of set off point on deciding to pursue a career of like full-time investing and to be very, very good at it was a very difficult decision to make, because I think you and I, we were around the age of 30 when both of our companies were sold. So we had money, we had options, and you went on to build a company and many more companies, right? And for me, I was doing a bit of angel investing already. I had a conversation with my dad and a bit of like reflection. You see, my dad, like a lot of parents over here who are in Malaysia, like or grandparents or whatnot. Now my dad grew up in a family of rubber tappers in Johor. And so he had 11 brothers and sisters, all rubber tappers and growing up agrarian, if you will. The brothers and sisters and his parents saved all their life savings for him to go to college. Now, with the first person in his family to have a college degree, he came back and he bought a computer for me and my brothers. So I had an Apple IIe growing up. I had Atari ST. I grew up with computers. Till today, he still doesn't know how to use a computer. I fixed his Windows XP or whatever, but he bought all of us computers. Having that, just the act of like having access to computers, we've managed to, I taught myself how to learn how to code when I was 15, from building websites to building companies with Joel. That experience and then selling those companies, when I was exchanging notes with my dad, his whole family's life savings for him and his 30 plus years of working as an engineer in Petronas had all of that savings combined. Just 6 years of startup activity is more than multiple generations of wealth. And even the exits compared to today's valuations and whatnot is not even at the same level. So if that conversation alone made me realize that it's almost like magic that you can leverage technology and finance and create generational wealth in just a handful of years. Now, if I were to continue over the next decades and build many of my own companies, that's one option. I think that's something to do. But I was age 30, 31. I was lost as hell. I'm like, I'm just going to do what I love. And I love seeing other people succeed and building more companies. So I dedicated all my effort to traveling around the world, learning how to be good at it, and investing in many more companies. Now, as a result, I think the whole idea is that a lot of the entrepreneurs that I work with, if they can create generational wealth and generational change in a handful of years, that's fun. You know what I mean? I think that's good use of time, right? And it's something worth failing at. Like, you're pursuing something that if you fail, hey, that's worth it. right? So I think similar to Circle DNA, right? You guys are succeeding so well already, so I guess failure is not really in your books, but you know what I mean? It's worth doing. So I think that's
But let's talk about failure, right? Because
Yes.
while
Yes.
you know, there's a few of these successes, and we celebrate some of them today, but you've seen a lot more failure than anyone in this room, right? And you've probably invested in very close friends, good friends,
absolutely.
old school friends, companies who failed.
I was just outside. I don't want to call anyone out here, but like I just bumped into a founder that I've worked with for many years. I'll give you like 2 quick stories of failure, right? And one's fresh. This morning, I messaged like 2 nights ago, right? I messaged my founder WhatsApp group. This is the Indonesia group. I said, hey, how's everyone feeling? If anyone kind of feels like they're in a stuck or rough spot, just drop me a DM, right? We can talk. Suddenly I got a message from someone that I didn't hear from for 3 years, right? He just messaged me out of the blue. I said, I really appreciate the message you just shared. Can we talk? I said, okay. So I managed to get a right time slot, spoke to him this morning. He shut down his company, and when he laid off his 50 over staff, he said he did it while in the bathroom. He didn't come out of that bathroom. He just made all the calls, wrote emails. He laid off all 50 staff. He stayed in the bathroom. He even moved away from the country that he built. He moved to a different country after he shut down his company. He put on 15 kgs, right, in the process after the startup was shut down, okay? And he was recovering for 3 years from the grief and his personal, and I'm not glamorizing the hardships of building a company. Okay? That's not what I'm doing. I'm just saying that this is just real shit that happens to people, right? So I think that the story of failure is there. And the reason why I haven't heard from him was because he sent an email later to tell all the investors that his company shut down. Then our investor was like, what? We didn't even know your company is going through hardship. He didn't even call us. He didn't even talk to us, right? So he reached out and he apologized. Hey, sorry, I didn't talk to you as the company was shutting down. I said, dude, sorry I wasn't there for you. Sorry I didn't know. Sorry I didn't message you sooner. So I think hardship is there. Second story, I walked outside and I bumped into one of the founders I've worked for 8 years. We spent 1.5 years fighting for the company to find a way out. And then the company eventually did shut down. And founder's outside, he's got a new thing he's going for. It's pretty cool. I say, hey, how's your new gig? He said, well, the new company is also kind of tough. So I guess now all companies, every startup is kind of shit. You know what I mean? It's not just yours, right? I say, yeah, that's right. So, it's kind of, we can have a good laugh of it after, right? But I think you're right. I think the failure is real. I think we have to talk about it.
And there are a lot of entrepreneurs, I see in the room who actually have not raised venture capital funding, right? They kind of very like what Tony was talking about, they build a business, it's profitable, where the revenue is higher than the cost, right? So why should they take venture capital funding, right? And, they can just continue building like a profitable company and growing.
Love it. Actually, in fact, I think if you've got an option to not take any venture capital money, I really don't think you should take VC money for the sake of taking VC money, right? So I'll give you some real story, right? Anyone ever used MailChimp? Right? You're sending emails out, right? Using MailChimp. I love MailChimp, right? Because back then when I was building web products, right, in the early days, they were one of the first companies who put a monkey as their logo, right? Back then, like tech products are very serious, it's just you want to seem like a tech product, right? It's got monkey, MailChimp, they got some banana icons, right? I thought it was really cute. I liked it. I liked the feeling of it. They were sold 2 years ago for $12 billion US. Cash, okay? And a bit of stock from Intuit. Now, they were bootstrapped for 20 years. Okay, 7 years, the founders are part-time. You think about that for a moment, right? They never needed any VC money, right? They were just building a product they loved. Customers loved them back. They loved the MailChimp monkey. They love, and people use it. And it's very useful for small businesses to get customers, right? I think that's one route. If you can go that route, more power to you. Now, there are a few companies that also went that route. One of them is 37 Signals. Some web nerds may kind of remember them. They make a lot of SaaS products that you may not have heard of. Very profitable company. The only outside money they ever took was from Jeff Bezos, because they wanted advice from Jeff Bezos, right? So I think that one very, very good option for a lot of people to take money is that if you genuinely think that the person who is giving you that money actually cares about you, that is going to journey with you through all of the tough times, that their advice, their network is so much more useful to you. Give out whatever percent of your company, but because it's going to multiply your company that much more. That's probably one of the best reasons to get capital. That being said, there are other options as well, just to have the full gamut of it. At 500, right, out of the 3,000 companies that the whole platform has invested in, we've got 49 companies which are worth more than $1 billion. But there are few companies that are not valued at $1 billion, but they are completely fantastic. They only raised the seed round, and that's it. Ipsy, Fit Fab Fun, Kiwi Co. What's that? I'm kind of blanking on like two of them. Kiwi Co, Fit Fab Fun, Ipsy. Okay, when the names come to me later, I'll share it with you. But basically, these 5 companies have something. Oh, Babylist, and then one more. It will come. I'll let you know. Now, these companies have something in common. They are D2C. They're consumer companies. I mean, it's great tying in into the topic over here, right? For consumer tech and beyond, they're all consumer companies. They're all American companies, and they are selling subscription. Fit Fab Fun. Oh, one more is BarkBox. There you go. Fit Fab Fun sells a consumer box company for families to get fit and fab and fun, I guess. Ipsy sells consumer box makeup. What's that? KiwiCo sells consumer box subscription for families to teach their kids, kind of science projects. BarkBox is consumer box companies for your pets, you know, and Babylist is like a mom and baby e-commerce kind of thing. All of them only did the seed round. Ipsy only raised $2 million seed, got so profitable, it used its profits to buy back most of the investors. Now, all these 5 companies are telling you these names. You may not have heard of it at all, right? They're not there thumping their chest, oh man, I'm a unicorn. You know, that's not what they're doing. Like, they're busy making money, they're busy making recurring revenues. All they needed was a seed round to go. Today, in our portfolio, you know, of course, people are looking at the 6 different unicorns, the Grabs, you know, the Bukalapaks, the Carsons, all these kind of companies, carousels that we've backed. But in our portfolio, there are companies who are just kicking ass when making revenue and profits. And they don't need to fundraise. So again, I'm giving you a spectrum of options, right? It's not like take money or don't take money. It's kind of like, okay, you don't take money, okay, maybe you can consider taking some money, why not, right? Then if you do take some money, like maybe you can get to a point where you're like, you have this escape velocity until you no longer have the option. But lastly, I would say that some businesses, you have to take a lot of money. And you're playing the long game of taking a crap ton of money. So of course, Tony's here, like making fun of Grab and all that, right? But you know, if Grab didn't do Grab, then all of us here will be just using Uber today. Like, how fun is that, right? That a bunch of Malaysians actually from SMKDU, right? Huilings from SMK Damansara Utama, right? And you know, a lot of Malaysians actually formed and founded early My Taxi team and so forth, that we can actually have a regional champion that we call our own, that we can kind of participate in, while let somebody else kind of build the products we use every day. Right? It's because they managed to actually convince people to get their money. Amazon in the US, they took money, and they had to be unprofitable even on the public market for many years in order to reach the escape velocity. The bottom line is this. Everyone has their own unique journey. All the entrepreneurs in this room today, you have your own kind of twists and turns to your story. Other people's stories matter a little bit less to you. And the more you kind of proceed with your journey, the more you're going to understand like what's really, really important for you. When to take money, how much, that's like a secondary thing.
Okay, so let's kind of see a real life example, right? Can I just see, okay, maybe like one person, can you just stand up who is fundraising, right? Okay, do you want to just stand up? Yeah? And you just get a mic? Can you just do a quick elevator pitch of your company? And then, you know, I just want to see, like, Khailee, what's your feedback, right? And be as direct as possible. So you could say, like, you know, the idea sucks, right? Not ready to fundraise. It's great, you know. I'm going to write you a check right now. Maybe.
Do you want him to come on stage?
No?
Okay.
Yeah. Keep him in the dark, yeah.
Testing.
Okay.
Test.
So it's like 30 seconds pitch, right? What are you doing?
Okay, all right. So hey everyone, my name is Joshua. I'm the co-founder of BBank. We are a retail marketing and data analytics startup working on making retail more efficient, sustainable, and also rewarding through AI and IoT. So we basically help brands collect customer-level data and deliver personalized offers to them. And to shoppers, we help them save and earn throughout the entire shopping journey.
Okay,
so,
you've reached the floor, okay? So
yes.
Elevator, you've reached, so Khailee has walked out.
No, I guess got some quick questions. Joe, thanks for putting me on the spot here. so like, if I hear you correctly, your customers are retail brands who have physical outlets.
Yes, correct.
And kind of like your perfect customer will be kind of like multi-chain outlets, I guess, instead of single outlets.
Yes, correct. And also the brand owners as well, like the Unilevers of the world, P&G, Nestle.
Oh, I see. So it's more of like FMCG is probably ideal for you. So they're selling
correct.
their Pantene shampoo in, you know, hundreds and thousands of places, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, and then you want them to get insights from real time, like whether the shoppers are looking at the product or they walk by or whether they took it, is it?
Not when they check out, but when they purchase. So what do they purchase along with the items? What is the demographics of the customers?
Okay.
And yeah.
Okay, so we take a pause, right? Okay, thanks. Yeah, thanks so much. Round of applause, yeah? So, I mean, this of course can go for a while, but let's say just based on that, right? What are the two things that comes to your mind? Investable, non-investable? What are the things that you are looking for?
Yeah. So I'm quite skeptical, or rather I'm very cautious about long sales cycles. So usually when you do a B2B business, right, like anything when you serve Unilever and whatnot, sometimes the sales cycle can be pretty long, right? Secondly is that when you talk about your perfect moment of success, all the things that have to go right for you to actually bag that sale, this one sounds like a few things have to go right? You have to get a lot of sources of data, you have, and again, all this just based on a very quick 10, 20 seconds, right? But you have to have a lot of things to get right. So for me is that like, I think what becomes a bit more dangerous for companies like this is that they will have to raise enough money to last long enough to be able to get enough big customers and have all these things go right. And then if you don't have enough money to get to that point where everything goes right and you can't prove it, you're not going to get any more money, or nor will you be profitable, right? So I think that like it sounds like it's more capital intensive. So for my style, I usually am a bit more averse to capital intensive things unless the reward is big enough.
Okay, thanks.
Right?
Let's try another company, right? So consumer company, yeah?
More B2B company, right?
Yeah, that's a B2B company, yeah.
But probably dual-sided because you need to kind of get data
Can
from
we just get a
consumers
mic
as well.
to a consumer?
Hey, that looks good over there, right there. That one's good. Consumer, right?
Over here, yeah. All right.
Oh, both are okay, one first. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, throw the mic, is it? Or?
Hang on.
Oh, it's over there.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hey, very sorry if I misunderstood your company. It's just like off the cuff, you know.
Hi, I'm Nadia from Pod. We are a Sharia microfinancing platform for gig workers to get access to microfinancing, build credit trails so they can become bankable. So the people that we service are the riders, freelancers, and the likes of people who don't have existing credit trails.
Okay.
We're in Malaysia and Indonesia.
Malaysia, Indonesia. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I think off the cuff, I think it's pretty awesome. I think that gig workers will continue to formulate a very large part of society. And there are a lot of people who are also formal workers do gig work at night. Yeah. I think providing them credit sounds like it's very important. I think that if we can give them probably a deeper, faster reason to kind of be part of it in some way, and I don't specifically know what it is. It's like some kind of like larger top of a funnel, because it sounds like getting towards credit takes some time, right? And again, Joe's putting me on the spot because I only have like 5 seconds, right, to really grok and understand. But Nadia, you've been a fintech entrepreneur for quite a few years, really, and we've met in the past, right? So I know that you've persevered, you've pivoted, and you're finding something that's very large.
Did you invest in Nadia?
No, he did not.
Not initially.
Have you guys invested in Nadia?
No.
Why not?
So initially, okay, real talk, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So initially, I guess I feel like again the kind of like the path to success, the journey to success, there's going to be like too many gates, and then you're going to need a lot of money towards get to that gate, right? So in this case right now, like I think it's more investable. I think that, however, like I've learned quite a lot of hard lessons from investing in other gig economy companies. That like the sign-up process, the churn, like you may get a lot of gig workers, and suddenly they are not gig workers anymore. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of like success and churn. However, like I think given enough capital, maybe you can figure it out, right?
Okay, one more, right? Actually, I want to just pull out Sheikh. Yeah, maybe Sheikh. Can you just?
I feel terrible. I feel like a Simon Cowell over here. You know, you're like picking out all these things.
No, Sheikh, come on.
I gotta like artificially say yes or something.
Okay, round of applause, Sheikh.
Hey, don't fail lah. We really invested in.
No, exactly, right? No,
Okay.
Sheikh, I just want to do a elevator pitch back, right? Just for the room, because you invested in Sheikh, right?
I did.
Yeah, so I was trying to pick somebody you invested with. So if Sheikh, you can explain what you do, and I want to hear why you invested in the company.
Okay.
Right?
Whew, man, Joe's got process here. It's a hot seat.
Okay, hi, my name is Sheikh Hizadin from Agent to You. We built a reseller platform for product founders, stockists, agents, and drop shippers. So basically what we do is that we help to enrich the life of all these kind of entrepreneurs, because basically their business is very informal. And now, with what we have in our platform, we help them to enrich their life, right?
All right, thanks, Sheikh. Round of applause, yeah?
Okay.
Obviously, it was not prepped, yeah, but why did you invest in Sheikh?
Okay, so disclosure. Okay, of course I invested in Sheikh's company, Agent to You, fantastic company. But the first time I met Sheikh, first time I heard about Sheikh's company, I was already kind of grokking on the thesis of informal commerce. A lot of people talk about e-commerce, right? But e-commerce is just like 1, 2, 5% max of any country. But all the rest of the commerce happens offline. And one big part of that is the informal commerce that's very popular in Malaysia and Indonesia, where you sell through agents and you sell through stockists. You've seen like stories like Nilofa or so and so forth, right? Of these folks that are like making multi-million-dollar business just selling through stockists. So as I was researching that, suddenly like one of my colleagues, right, Rushdie at the time, introduced Agent to us. I was like, wow, they have software that helps all these businesses sell through stockists, which means they have the data and the relationships of hundreds and thousands of stockists. They know how much product moves, who actually moves the product. There's a concept in a lot of startup physics, as I call it, called the atomic unit of a startup. So this is basically one of the core assets of it, right? And in this case, one of the arguable atomic units is the stockist itself. They are the only and the leading company with so much data and relationships in the world of stockists. You can build multiple businesses on the same atomic unit. And their cash flow is already super profitable and kind of like ready to rock already. You know what I mean? The unit economics are superb. So I don't need to put much money for them to become a much bigger company. And if they want to take more money, they can build multiple layers of business on top of each other. So like for me, it was like a clear win. I was really trying to get a lot of other people on my team bought in on it, and I'm glad 500 managed to invest, and glad you decided to take my money as well, Sheikh.
Okay, last one, right? Just to put Khailee on the spot. So Khailee introduced me Ayana just now, right? And she said, we got to invest in her, right? She's doing something like amazing. Okay, so I don't know what she's doing, right? I mean, this was just like a 2-minute conversation, right? Happy to learn more, but help me understand, it's sort of like pre-seed, it's almost like pre-product. Like, what makes you feel that, hey, that's actually investable, right? Or that individual or that idea is investable?
All right, so before I answer the question directly, I want to just share a way that I think. I'm not going to describe all VCs, okay? This is the way I think, all right? Now, and this is the way I train all my people at 500 to think. The most important thing about investing is that you kind of know what you're already looking for. You know what kind of trends, what kind of themes, what kind of business models. You studied a lot of different business models. So when the right opportunity comes along, it's like a crosshair and you're hunting, you can pull the trigger. Now, if you don't know what you're looking for, you're going to meet 1,000 companies. You're going to, don't know, invest or not. You go home, you think about it, you shower, think about it. You know what I mean? And you're going to have a long IC process, and you just not know. And you'll be so nervous to pull the trigger because you don't know what you're looking for. So for us at 500, here in Southeast Asia, there's some massive underinvested themes. Sharia, halal, Muslim commerce, the kind of channel and trade that goes through Malaysia, Indonesia, Middle East. You know, in Southeast Asia, we've got over 300 plus companies we've invested in. In Middle East, we've got 500 over companies we've invested in, right? How many of them do business with each other? Imagine if they did. This whole channel, this whole trade block is just waiting to be unlocked, right? That's why, with Sheikh, we talk about Middle East, with say Nazruf. Where's Nazruf in the crowd over here?
Bill, please.
Yeah, Bill, please, right? There's so much opportunity. So I think about this a lot. I think about which business models make sense over here. Then suddenly I met Ayana at a MAVCAP event, which by the way is fantastic that, MAVCAP, great supporter of the whole ecosystem here. At a MAVCAP event, and so they introduced me to Ayana, and she said that she is Korean, and she embraced Islam. She moved to Indonesia, really understood and learned Indonesia, and has moved to Malaysia to kind of build a D2C company that builds halal organic products with a Korean angle. I'm like, what? You got this Korean angle, and you got kind of halal, and you got D2C, and you got an influencer of 3.6 million followers who believes in a brand so fiercely. Okay, but you can't invest in all influencers, right? Because not all influencers are actually hardcore operators, right? But she's kind of, at least in the short time I've gotten to know you, she's really built up her kind of effort in politics. She's built up her entrepreneurship in being an outside influencer in Indonesia to be one of the most highly paid over there, right? So she's entrepreneurial by nature, and she executes on ideas. So I feel like there's a bunch of check boxes over there. So now it's just up to, whether she will accept us as an investor or not, right? It's balls in the court, right? Woo! I do hope so.
All right, so last question, right? I know we're running out of time, but let's say in this case study itself, what would you offer, right? For example, Ayana and many other entrepreneurs here may be building their businesses without any investments, right? They don't think they need any VC money. So what are you going to bring to the table?
Okay, so my answer is this. Every single founder, they'll need different things along different times. 500 does not provide many things, right? We don't take board seats. We're not sitting on your board. We're not overseeing your stuff, right? We don't. We have a lot of portfolio companies, so we don't have the luxury of having a ton of time to hover over you. But our biggest, most successful companies don't need a lot of time from their VCs. They don't. They need them there when it's the right time. So the past 10 years I've been with VCs, I've been looking for those magic moments to actually be there. The first magic moment and the value proposition is at the very, very start. Immediately when anyone gets money from 500, they immediately get between 500,000 ringgit to ₦1,000,000 of free stuff. AWS, fantastic partners. Part of that is AWS Cloud. You know, we just had one company to show up the other day. First 3 days, got 700,000 ringgit of free stuff, AWS and a whole other kind of software for free, right? So we just have runway extension. Seed is all about runway extension. You want 3 years so that you can prove yourself to scale, right? You want 4 years if you can, right? So free stuff. Secondly, is that we want to get the plan right. You want to get the story right. We've got a process that we've pioneered now, we call the flight path. You say you only got money from A to B. You got a plane that you're flying, you know, I mean, it's no coincidence Tony was here, but you got a plane that you're flying, you only have this much gas. What is that path for you to land? Where are you going to land at? So you can get more money or profitability. Now that flight path process, half a day, sometimes we talk to founders, we're scratching our heads. We front load the process so that you have like A to B. And we know whether you're on track or off track towards that path. So I think that those two things form, I think the first thing is both those things come together in runway extension and landing on the next thing. But lastly, and probably most importantly, is that Endeavor is a great organization. Earlier, I think Adeline had an example that like you can introduce to people in the Middle East. We're very similar in that sense, where we have invested in 80 countries, and our LPs, our investors in our funds, they come from all around the world. You know, we fashion ourselves a bit like the United Nations of startups, if you will. The One Belt, One Road of startups, if you will. And we want to connect all these folks. And so any of these companies where it's relevant to actually have the best food to eat or have like a real business partner in the Middle East or somewhere else or in the US, we make that happen. We've made that happen for 10 years. Oh wait, there's one last thing. And this one I train myself and I remind myself and all my team members, you gotta just be human with the people you work with. We're not here to work with you just you succeed or you fail or you're like unicorn, you're non-unicorn. It's like, this is a very human experience. You could be crying in the bathroom because you're laying off 50 people by phone. You could be celebrating your raise and not sure, having nervousness on how to actually deploy $120 million in the bank account. There are like different moments where shit is hard. And for us to be able to build a community, a tribe where we go to watch John Wick 4 together, you know, I think was that Gideon? I think you're here, yeah, you know, so a few of us, you know, the little things, you know, just going for a little familial dinner or just going to watch movies together. To be there for each other as a human being is so simple, but it's so forgotten. So if anything, right, if like, let's say like, you know, like I die right now or whatever, you know, I'm just proud that my team were there for each other as a human being and we actually genuinely care about the people we work with, including all the entrepreneurs that we've managed to back. And I hope that's important to a lot of you.
All right, thank you, Khailee.
Thank you for that brilliant chat, Joel and Khailee.